Hey everyone, it's Raid Kitty, and I'm here with my Raid Kitty S'mores, and today we're back in Sandella playing City Skylines. Prospector Pete has finally gotten together his investors and raised enough money to begin the copper mine operation. He had purchased the land up at the top of this hill where copper had been found, or I guess it's more of a mountain, not really a hill. And he finally got some investors together to start a blasting. So the first thing we're going to do at the top of the road that we built last time, the top of the road at the top of the development that we built last time, we're going to put the beginnings of the Prospector Pete copper mine operation. So the purpose of this parking lot is twofold. Don't want that. So the purpose of this parking lot is twofold. One, it's going to allow the people who work for Prospector Pete to park here and easily get up the mountain to go to work. The second thing is a place for the main portion of his business to take root. So off of this parking lot, we're actually going to place the main ore building, which is where it's going to be. So we're actually going to go ahead and just finish up this parking lot and decorate it up a little bit, and I'll be right back. So I found with parking lots in particular in City Skylines, it's really important to have a flat piece of land, and I did not flatten it out before I put. Oh, S'mores brought me her dart. So anyway, it's really important for parking lots to be flat. If they're not flat, some weird things start to happen. And one of the issues I was having with this, even when it was flat, is the parking lot, like, not stickers, what's the word I'm looking for? Markings, I guess. They're kind of like fading in and out. So if you know why it's doing that, just like let me know. I'm super interested. Because especially on the second and third parking lot roads, you can see that the original ones are kind of like, oh, well, maybe they're not anymore. Interesting. Well, they were. Anyway, so this is going to be the main part for Prospector Pete. So let's go ahead and lay down some fences. And we're going to fence it in, making it all part of the property. We want to give the people parking here a sense of security and a sense of privacy. We want them to be able to, like, it's going to be fenced in, right? We don't want people just like walking in to, this operation. There's a lot of heavy machinery, a lot of dangerous equipment, and we don't really want people doing that. So the next thing we're going to do is I'm actually going to place a toll booth. I feel like in an operation such as this, you're going to need like we're going to place a toll booth as like a security post, right? I want people to have to scan their badge when they come in and out. I want people there. And so due to the unlock all, let's actually make sure that I get the toll booth. And I do, which is great. So we're going to place it like a security outpost. Perfect. And I know I anarchied it in, so we're just going to replace this road here and reconnect it up. And I used the wrong road. Now let's fix it. Okay, so now I'm going to place these railroad crossing things as gates that are down, so that way when they scan their badges, it'll lift up. And then to start, I want to get rid of all of these trees because the trees are kind of distracting when it comes to getting ready to place copper mines. There's slows down your game. Wow, I am all over the place with this fencing and stuff today. Oh my goodness, I'm so sorry. I didn't realize how crazy I was. Again, I'm refencing in this area to make it a closed space because, like I mentioned, I want them to scan in their badges. The next thing is, it was mentioned to me in the last video that I placed this water tower poorly. So gravity is used as a mechanism from the water tower to bring water down. In order to be a little bit more realistic, I decided to spend the money to relocate the water tower up towards Prospector Pete's ore mine or copper mines, and that'll really help then bring that water down via gravity. So thank you, Jake, for that suggestion. So now let's go ahead and we're going to draw in our industry area, and I want to encompass as much of this ore as possible because we can always expand it. And I want to include the parking lot as well as the entrance gate because it's all owned by Prospector Pete. So let's name this section, if I can spell, Pete's Copper Mines. Perfect. So let's start building up the side of this mountain. So I want to put the ore main building, like I said, down on the parking lot. Because I feel like this is where people might check in for the day, figure out what mine, they're working at. This is where they get their paychecks. All the main operation takes place out of this building. And then we're going to smooth out the side of this mountain to make it a little bit easier for trucks to get up and down. The grade is still going to be pretty steep, but it's going to be a little bit more smooth. So let's just run an industry road all the way up to the end of where our industry area is and curve it back around to make a connection. Awesome. So now we're going to place a couple copper mines. I know everything's unlocked, so I actually have the wiki up next to me as I'm building to make sure that I'm not placing anything that wouldn't have been unlocked at 1 star. So part of Prospector Pete's investment into this area is going to involve blowing out sides of these mountains and carving in. So I'm totally fine terraforming this flat because that's just part of the business, right? Is he's going to be spending the money to just blow out parts of these mountains. And so I really want to play with that with these copper mines, especially because we don't have the like the pit mine or some of the other ones we get later. So these are just going to be mines of where they've excavated and excavated and excavated back, and they're starting to tear down parts of this mountain. So I'm going to be making lots of room for these. So you'll notice a 10% grade isn't great. I don't like that. So let's go ahead and place some storage in. So I've been using the 1U one-way roads. I think having a cycle is going to help with the movement of goods. So it's kind of going to be like a circle. They're going to go in one way, be able to travel around and come back. So I think we're going to place some of the sand storage over here. So basically what I'm thinking is a truck will come in to these mines and they'll pick up the goods. It'll then move it to the storage site and it'll just kind of be that nice circle, right? And so I'm going to run this 1U road all the way around to complete the circuit. Sorry if I'm a little out of it today, guys. I just got back from a huge work trip, and I'm still recovering. It's been crazy, let me tell you. But you should be on the lookout because there's a surprise live coming up in the next couple days. Hint, hint, probably Friday. Hope to see y'all there. And then, oh, well, we're gonna have to fix that. Yeah, so we want that extractor building, and I wasn't quite sure where I wanted it, but I think kind of the same thing is I'd be able to go to these mines, grab the ore, the copper in this case, take it to the, not extractor building, the refinement building, and then pick it up from the refinement building, get back on the loop, and then a little bit later, we'll go ahead and put a warehouse that it can then drop off that refined ore to. S'more says she wants to play with me. She says, play, 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 Raid Kitty, play. Ooh, yeah, no, that's not good. Let's fix that. Bring it up to height. And make the connection. Very nice. I'm pretty happy with this. We'll go back and we'll detail it up later, make it feel more complete. But I think for now, I'm pretty happy with this. So let's move on to the second mine. I'm going to do the same thing I did last time, which is even out kind of a pad. I'm going to use the terrain tools to carve into the side of the mountain. We're going to lay a couple mines, and we're going to lay some other stuff here. So let's place that ore grinding mill down. Because I think it's really important to have a place where refining can take place, right? I know I called the sand storage a refining building. It's a storage building. But this is where we're going to start getting goods that we can actually sell instead of exporting raw copper. Because Prospector Pete doesn't just want to export copper. While copper does make him money, he would rather spend the money to get a refinement building and eventually start turning into really nice goods that he can get a lot of money for. Because this is, his main goal is to make moolah. And, I don't know if any of you guys have ever watched SpongeBob, but, Mr. Krabs, dives into his, pit of cash. That's what I imagine Prospector Pete doing, is just, wearing his prospector uniform and diving into a pit of cash. He is a businessman, after all. Money-hungry businessman. Prospector Pete. So again, I'm kind of happy with this. I'm happy with this little area. I'm going to flatten out this side on the left, I think, to go ahead and place a storage building. So a little small warehouse. I guess it's a warehouse yard. We're going to leave it unbalanced. And I'm going to put metals, because that's what this ore grinding mill is capable of at this moment. All right, so I've been doing some thinking, and if Prospector Pete is going to spend all of this money to blow the side of the mountain out, he's probably going to pay some money to flatten out some of this terrain in general. He's going to make sure the grades are a little bit closer to a safe Percentage, I know, 5 or 6%. Oh, 4%. Okay. Not necessarily the safest it can be, especially when it's full, but it's a heck of a lot safer than that 10% grade. And so if he's already spending the money to do it, I think he's just going to continue doing it. So we're going to flatten out and take all of this excess soil away. Plus, flattening it out will give him more area that he can excavate from, or extract, I guess, ore from. All right, so now it's time to start some of the detailing. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm actually going to place some of the ore industry fencing around this area. Again, these are closed mines, and even though people are going to have to check in before they show up to work, they're going to have to scan their badge, and you have to go through the security gate, and then they have to get up here, and then we're going to place a building down where they have to sign in for their assignments. People just don't always follow the rules, and so you want to put as many safe measures as possible so that people don't get themselves into trouble. So we're going to fence in this entire area. And make a nice little mine. And I envision that these two areas that I built are like two separate mines, right? So even though you both work for Prospector Pete, when you show up, you're on one of two mine duties, right? They're like, oh, you're in mine alpha. And so you show up to mine alpha and you're, doing mining here, and that kind of stuff. So now we're going to use the surface painter tool to fill in a little bit more of this gravel texture. And we're going to continue on with the detailing. All right, so I'm going to set up a little area in between the main industry road and the small industry road of the mine for the workers. So we're going to place some outhouses, and then I like to use the little dog park water fountain as kind of a water fountain hand washing station, one of those. And then we're going to use some of the little props, and we're really going to build this area out. So these signs I'm placing down, I imagine, are you want your delivery drivers to know where they're going. So I imagine these are work site alpha, enter, exit, that kind of stuff. Not welcome to the park signs, using our imagination. And so after some looking, I found this asset that's just like a building. It's an unsorted prop that in some ways to me looks like a portable trailer that I could see on a job site, on a construction site, which is where the construction site manager would be, or in this case, the copper mine manager of this particular mine would be. He would have all of the OSHA compliance paperwork, all of the, payment paperwork, where everybody's working, how much they've gotten. This is where you check in for your day, a clock out for your shift, that kind of stuff. So we're gonna place him, or this building, referring to the building as him for some reason, next to this parking lot. And this parking space will fit perfectly over here. Now, these poor guys, they have to park way down there. But if you're the manager of this site, you get to drive your car all the way up here. I'm thinking eventually of running a bus line up here, like a work route that will take people from the parking lot, like a shuttle, right? A shuttle up to these copper mines. So look at this. It's kind of cute. It has a couple doors. It has what looks like an AC unit on the, AC window unit. I think it fits perfectly. All right, so it's time to place some tables because workers on their lunch break need a place to sit. It's not fair to make them stand around. They're on their feet all day. Quick drink of water. Man, I'm so dehydrated. I don't know about you guys, but it's just... I try and drink water, and I just feel like I can never hydrate enough. I have a like basically a knockoff Hydro Flask. So it's like 32 ounces of water, and I drink 2 to 3 of these a day, and I still am dehydrated. But back to City Skylines. Let's place a little food stall. I don't necessarily imagine that people are going to come up here and run it like a food truck, but this is where I could see them having like a fridge or, you know, like their microwave and stuff that they could heat up their lunch. Or maybe they do have a sandwich guy who comes up, you know? These guys work really hard. They're kind of like unsung heroes, right? Miners. A lot of health risk there. And so now we're going to place some of these like little construction bins. And I happened to see this in, I believe it was Overcharged Eggs live the other day, is how he would take these and he would use the Move It tool to place these and copy them. And I thought it was a really quick way using Propline tool and Move It to kind of give character to an area. And you might be wondering, you know, why aren't you putting trees? Well, honestly, trees would kind of get in the way. It's unsafe to have this type of equipment around trees. And while a little bit of shade would be nice, you're probably just going to see bushes and stuff here, but they're going to be taken out because you want as much land as possible to mine out this ore. Hi, S'mores, what are you doing? You're so pretty. All right, so this little area between the sand storage and the exterior industry loop is really bothering me. So I'm gonna place some terrain conforming rocks to kind of fill it in. For areas such as that, I could kind of imagine there still being some rocks left over from when the mountain was kind of carved out. So I kind of wanted to emulate that. Plus, it's a nice little decorative piece. So on to mine number 2. Again, we're going to place some fencing. And honestly, we're going to kind of do the same thing here that we did on the last one. So I'm just going to let you enjoy some of this detailing here. Awesome. So the last thing we're gonna do is place some more of the like the little tank things. Again, just more storage. But the one thing I'm going to do is, look, one's missing. It's probably been moved onto the mine or taken to where it needs to go. Give it a little character. Not everything needs to be perfect. So I'm just checking here. I'd gotten a notification that said not enough raw materials. So I'm just kind of checking to see what was going on. Everything is set up as it is. I think it's just starting to get going, and that's kind of a long loop for them to make. So I might need to stick some in between roads. And again, with the racks, I kind of like this. I'm not sure that giant like retaining wall is going to be there, but for now it is. And so now we're going to spend some time finally putting some foliage. Foliage. There we go. Up and around Prospector Pete's main entryway to his copper mines. And here I'm looking for billboards. If you've ever entered a place where you have to scan a badge, your entry sign is usually like, "Welcome to business name." And then your exit sign is, you know, do you have any important documents or things you really shouldn't be taking with you? Have you left all your tools behind? And so I'm using these advertisement billboards as kind of reminder signs for people who are working for this company. So they'll have one upon the entrance and one upon the exit. And see, it kind of looks like they're having to check in and check out, and I kind of like that. And then off they go. So I spent some time trying to put like trees or bushes, and I finally remembered I have the acacia trees, which I really like, but I kind of want to change everything up. So I'm going to use Bob. We're going to replace all the trees on this asset with something more deserty, and I think we're probably going to do the same for the ore industry building as well. I love Bob. It's not a necessity by any means, but especially for this build, I really wanted to play with it a little bit and figure out, you know, kind of what it's capable of. I like the fact that I can change trees on buildings and trees on this stuff to give it more of the vibe that I'm after. And that's kind of the point of this game, right? Is doing with it what makes you happy. Playing pretend. And for me, playing pretend involves more realistic trees. Just slightly more realistic. I have no foliage. That's a word. I'm no tree expert. S'mores might be, though. S'mores, are you a tree expert? No? She says, me. All right, let's fix Prospector Pete's ore industry building. So with Bob on the left-hand side, you select the tree that you want to change. On the right-hand side, you change it with the tree that you want to change it to. I set the probability up at 100 because I want every single tree to have a 100% chance of changing. But you can kind of play with it. Like if you have other props or stuff that you don't want to always pop up, you can change that percentage chance of it spawning at all. And then I want to run a pathway from Prospector Pete's main ore building over to this water tower. So that way people who need to help work on the water tower can get there easily. And now let's go ahead and let's detail up this parking lot. Kind of sounds like a weird thing to say, but there's this huge area of cement here, and I want people who have come, you know, to work, maybe aren't quite ready to head up on the shuttle that will be coming soon, to be able to have a place to sit. You know, just kind of sit out and enjoy the sun and the pollution, but mostly the sun. Meow? Is that right, S'mores? You say meow? Meow. Meow, she says. So we're gonna place some picnic tables down, and I'm gonna place just some, like I said, places for people to sit. I want to place some trees, of course, some trash cans. You know, I see this more as a like a general picnic area for the workers than anything else. You know how hard it is to film with a kitten? so hard. She's been scratching at me all the time. All the time, huh? All right, so I'm gonna use this. I believe it's from one of the zoo enclosures, but I kind of like it as like a tree guard. I think that's what it's used for in the zoo enclosure too. But we're gonna place them around, and then we're gonna go through and we're gonna place some trees in there. Because I don't have, at least I don't think I have as one of the assets, the tree. That's what I'm looking for. S'mores, what's what I'm looking for? Yeah. Planters. Thank you. You're so smart. Yeah, she says she knows. I don't know that I have the planters installed, and I feel like these are kind of a good alternative to a planter, right? You don't want people carving their initials into these trees or climbing them or doing that kind of stuff. And it's also a safety guard for these cars, so they're not running into these big old trunks. So we're gonna place some trees down. S'mores is very demanding, so I feel like we need to be wrapping this up, huh, S'mores? I'm honestly thinking, yeah, after these trees, I think we're gonna have to call it a day. Because she's needy. So I was doing some thinking while I've been building this, and I think instead of Friday for the live, because I do have to work, it'll take me a while to get it set up, and I want some of my friends to be able to attend. I'm thinking maybe Saturday afternoon. You know, I just reached 200 and I believe 5 subscribers, and I wanted to do a 100 sub special and a 200 sub special, but I went from 100 to 200 very quickly. So like, thank you, bless you all. But yeah, so I think on Saturday I'm gonna do a 100 and 200 sub special live. So you guys should totally come. I think it's gonna be a lot of fun. We're gonna do a totally different city. Using my favorite City Skylines DLC. What do you think that is? Let me know down in the comments. What's my favorite DLC? But anyway, guys, thanks for sticking with me. I know I've been all over the place, but if you liked this video, hit the like button. Sub if you want. That way you get more information about my videos and you get notified. Leave me a comment. But S'mores and we're gonna go have some playtime. Bye, everyone.